I am very hungry. So, this is horrible. Look at how shitty this is. This is gonna be impossible to film. All right, I got these Shirataki noodles. Had these before. Well, not this brand. They're good. We're gonna make something today. I don't really have a lot in my fridge right now, but I got let's see, I got 2 old carrots. I got some chicken that's cooked already. Not a lot. I got an onion. Let's see. I got some mushrooms. And I got a bunch of garlic. Maybe some tomato. Some, like half of a quarter of a tomato cut up. Some Parmesan and Romano. Gotta get this stuff that doesn't have any cellulose in it. No cellulose added. Very important. Cellulose is sawdust, if you didn't know that. And I got some coconut flour and some cream of chicken. Ideally, you'd want to make this yourself, just using like chicken broth and heavy whipping cream and a little bit of like, you know, some kind of flour. But I don't have either of those things right now, so I have to use canned. So let's start out. Now you can't see this. The iPad is so damn zoomed, it's like a film camera. I got all this shit. Shirataki noodles, it's not noodle, it's a yam, okay? It's like 100% fiber. It's really good for you, and it's, you know, good. I'm just making this because I had it in my, like, cupboard for, like, I don't know, 6 months. It's probably horrible. It probably tastes like plastic now. Shirataki, made in China. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, Zhongguo. Look, I just wanted to try out the iPad camera, all right? I didn't know it was going to be like this. I'm tempted to go get my phone, or I could use a real camera that I have. But I don't use that. Are you kidding me? This is a phone video channel. What? You open it up. That's the step 1. Give it an open. And then you're going to want to make sure it's actually open. Whoa, what's going on? What's up with this? Look at this. What is this? It's inside of another bag. What? This is some thin Shirataki. Holy cow. So there it is. It's inside of water and I think it's like what, sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide? I don't know. Some kind of goofy chemical that keeps it good. So you're going to want to give it a good shake and then cut it. Cut it open and put it in each... Oh, look at this. Don't even cut it, bro. Rip it. Give it a rip. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and put it in the strainer. Look at that. No noodle. Amazing. There it is. Looks kind of weird, huh? This is a yam. This is not a noodle. So what you're going to want to do is just rinse it. Give it a good rinse. And get your hand in there. Make sure you don't wash your hands so that way your hand bacteria gets in there and like it'll make it better. So it's going to be all clumped together and stuck together. Don't worry about that right now. Just rinse it. And then periodically, as I'm like cutting up all my other stuff, I'm going to be rinsing and soaking this over and over and over again until I feel like it's, you know, good to go. So now I'm going to go get a bowl. I'm going to put it in here. Make sure all your noodles, there's 2 little noodles in there. Don't lose them. You want to keep those, okay? So I'm going to fill this with water. And I'm going to let this soak for a while. Periodically, when I'm like chopping up the vegetables and stuff, I'll strain this again and then let it soak and strain it and soak it until I feel like it's good to go. And that's just to get it kind of like, you know, a little bit unclumped and it's ready to go. Wash your carrots off. Just wash them. You don't have to like do any peeling. That's stupid. The dirt is where all the nutrition is. The nutrition that's still in there. Most soil is completely void of nutrition, and most vegetables you can get at stores are basically just like water and like, you know, just water. It's like kind of like hard water. So now we're gonna go and we're gonna cut these up. How am I going to record this? I have the iPad on top of a blender right now, like the top part of that blender. I have it sitting on the top part. Here, I'll show you. It's sitting on this. This is high-tech stuff here. Oh, that's a perfect camera angle. Great. Okay, this is how we're filming this. Get you a knife. Not just any knife. You need yourself a kitchen knife. You need yourself a fucking kitchen knife, mate. Now, even though this looks cool and awesome, it is duller than my pocket knife. And cut the end up, you know, however you want. Just get it smaller. You don't want big chunks of carrot. That's the only reason we're doing this. You don't want big chunks, because carrots, they don't really cook down very well unless you're doing it like a stew. We're not doing that. We're just kind of frying all this, because it's the fastest way to do it. Don't lose your carrots. You don't want to lose them. And you get them on the disgusting counter. That's what it's called. You don't want to lose your carrots. You want all your carrots. Let's hope if I chop my finger off, which is bound to happen one day, I get it on camera. Alright, that's good. Now, transfer all this to like a paper plate or something for later. Now, if you're following this at home, you don't have to cut the carrots up first. It's totally optional. You can cut them up last or first. It's okay, whichever way you do it. It's fine. Now I'm doing the onion. So, how do you do an onion? Well, first you gotta kind of get rid of all this junk. So, just get like the basics off the end. Just get like this brown stuff off as best as you can. Just give it a rip. It'll come off. One layer removed. Now you got good onion. There's a little bit of stuff left. Don't worry about that. It's good for you. Now you're going to want to cut the ends off. This is very difficult unless you have like a good knife, which I don't. But cutting into a round surface, come on. There we go. You want it like that. You want to cut the ends off. Then, now, I know this is confusing for some people. Cutting onions, it's very hard. You just cut it in half. And now, take one half, lay it flat. Look, see these lines? You're going to want to follow these lines. Onions are already cut for you pretty much. You just cut along those lines, you're good to go. Now, if you mess up like me and you get a thick one, then you can go ahead and cut along the lines. You know, sometimes you want these little bits, but most of the time you want it good like this. You want it like this. And those will all come apart when you're cooking. Now, typically I don't, I'm not affected by onions, but some onions I do tear up, and right now I can feel it starting, so we're going to want to get through this as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible. So let's get cutting. Alright, onion's good. To get rid of onionitis or whatever, wash your hands and like blow your nose and wipe your eyes off with hot water and it'll be fine. You should also probably strain your shirataki at this point if you haven't been doing that. So put your onion on like another plate and save it for later. Now, as you can see, I use the hell out of this cutting board, but I don't like it because I'm sure there's like a real reason to have this like thing, but I think it's stupid. Like, why wouldn't you just use this side? Well, this is the right side to use. I don't know. I'm not a cooking man. All right, let's go over here back to the shirataki real quick. And let's strain it out. Give it its last rinse. Let's really get the water out this time. As much as we can. Maybe even separate it a little bit by hand. And now, this is going to sound crazy, you're going to want to move the blender over. You're going to want to lay out a towel, okay? Lay out a towel. Put the noodle on the towel, alright? So, like I said, shirataki, it's not a noodle, it's a plant, okay? It's from the earth, it's good for you. So, spread this out. And you want the water to get absorbed as best as you can, and just let this sit out for a bit until you're ready to cook it. Now it's time for garlic. So get your garlic ready, all right? And then get your paper towel that you throw all your onion shit on, because we're gonna be doing a little bit more peeling with the garlic, okay? You can see there's some peeling that needs to happen. So you're gonna wanna remove the tiny bottom. Now you see that? See that in there? That's mold, okay? If you see that, then just, it's fine, don't worry about it. Just maybe wash it off. It's fine. Now you can, what you're going to want to do is just cut the end off, okay? Cut that off. Cut that moldy bit off. We're not cutting it off because it has mold. No, it just makes it easier to peel the stuff off. Guess you could have done that with the onion too, but garlic, it makes it way easier. So do that with all your garlic. We got some coloration of our garlic. That must mean we have special garlic, and that means it's going to give us extra bonus points. So we want that colored garlic in there. This, I don't know what this is. This doesn't even look like garlic. It's some kind of mutant garlic. It's got like a stem on it. Yeah, this is like 2 cloves actually. Oh, okay. So this is actually 2 cloves of garlic. 2 little Joe Rogan cloves of garlic. Look how tiny they are. Now, since it was moldy, you probably want to wash all the garlic off just a little bit, you know, in case there's any free radicals or whatever living in your garlic. So first, I'm going to cut this off, and I'll chop this up separately later. But to cut up garlic, it's pretty simple. You take this part of your knife, and you press down on it. Now, be careful. You might have to put a lot of weight on this. You don't want to put a knife through your arm, you know? So you're gonna want to do that if you want. Doing that causes the garlic to release some more garlic chemicals, and it makes it extra good. And you want to slice as thinly as possible the garlic, okay? Come on. Probably don't want to put your fingers in front of the blade. Probably want them on the side. But, you know, up to you. So some garlic won't smash, it'll just flatten. Who cares? Just, you know, you're good. Just cut it up. So now you can go and cut your greens, your garlic greens up, and you absolutely want to use these because they make it better. So chop them up, you know. Now you might have a piece of shit knife like me and it doesn't cut through, but that's fine. It'll come apart. Probably. It'll probably come apart. Maybe. Maybe you should just, you know, chop it some more. Just in case. It's cut up, and we're going to add it to the onion because onion and garlic go together pretty good. They're basically the same plant. Okay, so now mushrooms. You're going to want to rinse your mushrooms off. I know some people say, don't do that. Just dry them off. So mushrooms are usually grown in poop. Other people's poop, not your poop. So you probably don't want to be eating other people's poop. Get the worst looking ones and use those. If they're really slimy, then they're bad and throw them away. But you want to use the worst looking ones now, so that way you can use the good looking ones later when they're the worst looking ones. Like this one, pretty slimy, but it's not it's still firm. So now you got your mushrooms washed. Now you got to cut them. So how the heck do you cut up mushrooms? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. You could do it like a pizza, or you could do it some other way. So just cut the mushrooms up however, you know, it's you don't have to do it the pizza way. See this mushroom? That's a good mushroom. See how clean it's slicing? Like, it's beautiful. And I say that and immediately it breaks. Okay. I think maybe the dull spot is right there. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, okay. So if you ruin your mushroom, that's fine, because it's mushroom. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's good. Ideally, if you can hire like some kind of, you know, some kind of like migrant worker or homeless person to cut up your vegetables for you, then you want to do that. You don't actually want to waste your time doing this. I've been doing this for about, I don't know, an hour now, and I'm kind of hungry and bored. So you're just going to want to do all that and cut it up and make it nice. Alright, so now that your mushrooms are all cut up, you're going to want to put your mushrooms on a separate plate or whatever the heck you're using. And that is because you want to add your mushrooms last, since mushrooms cook the fastest out of all the things we're adding. So you could leave your chicken like this. I'm going to cut it into strips. So we're going to use these kitchen scissors. Just cut it up into strips. Normally what I like to do is take this thin chicken and I make some custom breading, seasoning, and it'll be cooked, and I'll bread it, and then I'll cook it again. I'll fry it in oil really quick, and then I'll put it in the air fryer to finish it, and it will be very crispy on the outside, and the inside will be nice and like good chicken like this. And then I'll put that with white rice and I'll eat it with soy sauce, and it's very good. But you could use a different kind of sauce if you were doing that. So after you've done all your stuff, your shirataki's probably, it's still wet, but it's dry enough. We're just going to transfer it back into its little thing. Try not to spill all of it like I just did. You know, it's going to get cooked anyway. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff. Then I'm going to throw in all this. So we got like cumin, very important. We got a little bit of cayenne pepper. Ground mustard. Pink Himalayan salt, very important. Gives you macronutrients. Dillweed. It's basil and tomato. Olive oil with basil in it. Not a lot left. I'll probably use all of that, maybe. Bay leaf. Parsley. Cinnamon. Crushed red pepper. Turmeric. Parmesan. Cream of chicken. And kikkoman.
I decided I would voice over the rest of the video because the fan over my stove is really loud. I add all the spices in here, but I made one real fatal flaw. I added way too much cayenne pepper, and it made the whole thing way too spicy, and it kind of ruined it, but I still ate it all. It was still good. It just was like, the spice of the cayenne pepper isn't a very tasty spice. It's just like an annoying spice. It's not really it just kind of made it crappy. So here I'm adding the tomato and the carrot. Yeah, I added a little bit of tomato. I had like a quarter of a tomato, and I cut that up a little bit. I didn't include it because, let me tell you, cutting it with that dull knife was a joke. The next main mistake I made was adding the garlic and onion this early. I should have waited for the carrots to cook down a little bit because, you know, by the time I felt like everything was done, I really wanted the carrots to be cooked more. So I should have also added the shirataki in a little bit earlier, but really that's not that big of a deal. You can really only cook them down so much. They're always going to be like that same weird, like, squishy texture, and I don't mind it. I think they're cool, but, you know, some people might not like shirataki noodles, so, you know, maybe you should, like, use a normal noodle. You can see here that I'm, like, constantly trying to, like, separate the shirataki noodles from each other. They kind of clump together, so you really want to, like, make sure they're not clumped together and kind of evenly distributed. I'll be doing this, like, the entire time that I'm cooking it. So here's another mistake I made. I added the cream of chicken, like, way too early. I should have given some time for the other stuff to cook down more, and you know, it just really, it made it harder to deal with. I probably did this because I was, like, really hungry and filming a video at the same time. So if you're doing this, add your cream of chicken, like, a little bit later. I periodically add a little bit more milk and then oil sometimes. The milk is to kind of make it creamier and, like, less thick, and the oil is just to make it cook better. You'll see here that some of the milk or cream of chicken is starting to, like, burn on the bits of the non-stick pan that has, you know, worn away because someone decided to use metal on the non-stick pan. So it's kind of like burning the milk, and that's not good, and I gotta, like, get the burnt milk bits out, and I really struggle with that later on here. And you definitely want to use a proper non-stick pan that isn't a piece of junk. So this made about 2 bowls, 2 big bowls. I ate 1 bowl that night, and then I ate another bowl the next morning, and I added a little bit more milk the next morning, and it made it taste significantly better than it did the night before. And I think it's just because it took that little bit of spiciness away that was a little bit overpowering, and it made a lot more flavor come out. So that's me making a meal with random things that I had available to me at the time, and it was pretty good. It takes a really long time to cook this, so if you want to do something like this, then make sure you have free time. But otherwise, I would recommend giving it a shot. Shirataki is very good, and all this stuff I put in is pretty good, and it goes well together.